On this episode of BeckBuilt, we're going to go ahead and start the chassis repair and the hanger for the leaf spring on the old rusty H Venture. H stands for Hercules. Says it right here on the tires. So we got our breaker bar out. Let's see if I can reach the PVs from here. Excuse me. Spray some PVs in the pointless shit. Look at that. So yeah, I feel like it's pointless to spray PVs into metal that might as well be a sponge, but let's see what it can do here. See that? So rusty over here. We're going to have to cut this whole bracket free first, and then I think we're going to have to cut the bracket off of the leaf spring and start from scratch there. It's definitely still holding something. Look at that shit. It's ridiculous. Alright, switch to the grinding mill. See if we can get this out of here. So here's our hanger that's off. You can see how bad it is. Straight through. There wasn't much left of it. I only made this one cut right here in order to rip it out off the leaf spring, which I still have to remove the bolt out of the piece. Now let me show you the new piece. Ta-da! There's the brand new part. Well, it took quite a bit of work, but here's the second part that goes that mounts in down here at the bottom part of this. I'm going to recreate that piece. I got some 1/4-inch plate right there. I only had enough money to buy the hanger, so we're definitely doing this poor man style. Bad chance this will happen. I'm going to try to see these rivets I got cut. I've already pulled that plate off. I'm going to try to hammer them upward and see if I can't push this part or the rivets out. Okay, there's not much of the part left. Almost got them all knocked out. It looks like I got 3 more. They're all out on the bottom. Got my top free. Look at this bullshit. And this bullshit. And this bullshit. Look at this paper thin mess. That is thin. It's all the way through right there. Real thin. Man, what am I gonna do? Alright, so here's what I'm gonna do. I've got to, let's see, this is my longer piece here. Alright, I'm going to take this piece and I'm just gonna cut this rip right here down along the side of this right here and take this bottom section here and I'm going to replace it from here, from there to there. And I'm going to replace that section because it's all thin right throughout there. I'm going to come back with and mark my holes later. Literally crap. Such crap. I'm going to use the tape to help make sure that I stay absolutely straight. The Rocco dog, he's just going to get over here and get in my way. I don't know if you can see him or not, but he's right at my side here. Just look how much rust came off of this on its own. Those are all volunteers. Every single, you see my hand for size reference, every single one of these chunks of rust was volunteer. to remove itself from the vehicle as I banged on it and cut on it. You can see how thin it got into right here. This is the part we're replacing, right? There's the thickness it should be. Now, thickness it should be. Now look at this. Looks like a little mountain range. Can you see that? Are you there? Looks like a little mountain range, up and down, up and down. You see where it gets real low right here, where it pitted. Low here, low here. Yeah, so good thing we're replacing this piece. I just got this done, finished cutting this, haven't pitted yet. It's a very nice tight fit. It's a little tall. Listen to that. Sound like I'm from up north. It's a little tall. Okay. There's that button you got makes me so. 'Cause I'm large and in charge. 'Cause I'm long and I'm strong. Alright, got it in. It's welded. It's ground. Cleaned. It's not perfect in all spots, but I still have to plate the inside over here. The inside welds I ground down, but I left them a little rough. Left them with a little bit of girth so that way they can have a little bit more integrity than the front welds did. And then so now it's time for us to do the plate that goes all throughout inside there. So I taped a bunch of them together, and then I taped them to the chassis. And what I plan on doing, which I'm doing right this second, is I'm going to trace the chassis and get this piece of taped together papers here, or these pieces of taped together papers, to be the general shape that I need. And then I'm just going to trim it down to size so that it fits on the inside. So as you see, I got my battery trimmed down, test fitted. I know it's hard to see due to the sunlight, but my plate is in there. There it is. My plate's in there. It's a nice fit too. Look at this. Well, it's real dark in the shadow area, but how pretty is that? That's our metal after I've cleaned it and treated it with Chem Prime. This stuff right here. All right, let's get this thing to fit. I'm gonna need a clamp, block of wood, make up some space. Now this, maybe a big hammer to knock it in. Got some hammers. We'll worry about that in a minute. Yeah, that's nice. Went right in. I believe it's all sitting flat. That's definitely sitting flat. We'll start down here and then move the clamp to the other side. Is it gonna film? Yeah, there's my welds. All the way down. I had to stop here for this piece. I got some stuff to do there to take that out before I finish. But basically, oh, more sun. Sorry. Welded all the way. So I need 18 of these. Lowe's only had 11. I figured a grade 8 bolts would be fine. And I didn't get washers and nothing because I'm just gonna crank the shit out of them, and then I'm welding them into studs. So hopefully they'll do their job and hold. Okay, so we have everything wallered out with the step bit. Let me grab my other hardware. And what we're gonna do is just put these top bolts and line up these top holes, put these bolts in temporarily so that we can mark where we're drilling for the other holes. And it also has to be in place so that I can make the piece, the secondary brace piece that goes under the chassis here. So I got my bolts in on the hanger, tightened it ever living mother ever, yeah, just tightened them as tight as I could until like I was afraid they were gonna strip or pop. And that's where I'm actually gonna weld them in place. And I've got to cut the excess off the backs of these and put a bead weld on them, because currently there's no room for the bolts in the other directions to go in as well. So I'm gonna cut out 2 of those bars, 2 of these flat plates, and I'm gonna make them, well, let's just say we're gonna make them a foot long, and I'm gonna drill the holes that I need in here. So one's on the top and one's on the bottom. The top one's gonna end up having an angular piece that goes up to meet the bracing off of here, like the original piece that was on there, and then the bottom one will eventually have some other plates welded on, so it becomes the brace back here. So I'm gonna basically put this on the back here. I got a point to where I'm gonna have to cut short and go flush on the back side here, but leave it long on the front. And I actually have already done this once, so let me turn this around and show you what I got. So this side's going to be flush over here, and it's going to follow around and trace, while I'm going to peel off this direction over here a little bit. And some of this plate will be trimmed down to match up to this, because this is actually going to end up being one piece. So I got my pattern here, and I laid it flush to the factory straight edge, and I've marked it, and I see there's going to be a little tip of it that's not going to make, but that's okay, because if you look at the other one that's from the factory, it's kind of the same way, but there's even less metal here. So I'm going to trust my piece a lot better, a lot more than I will their stuff that's half rusted. And so here's my piece. It's all cleaned up. I'm gonna be glad to get behind the wheel of this old beast. That's for sure. Let's unbolt everything so we can cut our side angle pieces, trim off the excess, weld it all the rest of the way up, and then whenever it gets reinstalled, it should be permanent. Ooh, that felt great. I might be bleeding out of my mangina. And there we are so far. See it bolts through the frame and in there. So these are my pieces I'm cutting. They're a little wide, but you'll see what I do to trim them up. And they're going to be supporting the sides of my piece that I'm fabricating to finish this off. So I have my pieces here that I'm going to weld in like so. And I'm just going to cut the tips off flat once they're done being welded in. I should have plenty of room. Yep. Sure do. Plenty of room for my hardware to go in. As you can see what I did here, I have to cut off my tips here. About to have to hit the water hose, it's so hot. Once I cut these tips off, I can weld it in all the way around from the outside. And I get to grind it flat, and that's going to be a finished piece once I clean it all up. So we got our piece. I chem primed it yesterday. This is a new day today, so that's why it's going to look all weird and funny. I went and got the correct size bolts this morning as well. So I'm going to tighten these down to sandwich all this in really well, and then put all my correct size bolts here and here, here and here. And then what I've got to do, this top plate here, you see it sandwiches the chassis, goes from here up to this piece. That's my last piece I have to build for this section. So let's get all this hardware put in and tighten the ever-loving mother piss out of this so we can move on. So I got a brace in. It's all bolted up tight. I'm going to go a little tighter, put a breaker bar on it, and just try to take it to the brink of almost dripping, and then I'm cutting the excess off here and here, and I'm gonna weld those and even weld them at the top and then tack them to the actual piece itself. Just tack, so I can always cut it later for other repairs. I gotta cut this and those, and like I said, tack all those head bolts. Alright, so I'm gonna start just by making the plate that mounts it here first, since I already have this plate here. I'm gonna start by making this plate here first. Gonna trace it out and cut it to shape. Alright, so that's all I need right there. So I'm gonna go cut this out first with scissors, and then I'll trace it onto some steel, and then we'll cut it out. Okay, we got our holes cut, drilled. I got my bolts. Pull these out the package. But I only have 3 nuts left, so I'm gonna have to go back to the store. Not now, later. I do have some errands to run here in a little bit. That's a good spot for y'all. Let's go ahead and get this thing started. Should have went in a little easier than that. I'd be so freaking happy when I'm done with this mess. This is so thin, I don't even think it's going to be doing anything, but I'm going to put it in there for good measure. I took some measurements and got my pattern drawn out here. So basically, all I've got to do now at this point is to cut this out and then just go tack it into place, run as much weld on it as I can, and clean this side of it up while it's in place. And then I'm going to make a couple of angular braces to weld into it, and once those are in and I know it's not moving at all, then I'm going to go ahead and take the whole thing apart so I can weld it all the way up. I got my piece cut. I'm going to see about getting it tacked and welded so I can add the angle braces before I pull the whole thing out. So there's my pattern, and I did this so you see the different creases in the paper by folding the paper until I matched the angle here that fit to the inside of the piece that I just tacked over there, right where my fingers were touching, and then I just merely made a measurement and connected 2 lines. So I've got to go cut 2 of these out. Check it out. Cut my 2 pieces. I'm going to tack them in there, and then I'll take this piece out, and you'll see where they went. Those are welded in, or tacked. So it's gonna cool down, and remove everything, do all the final welding and cleaning. It's my last piece. Check this thing out. Let's see, that's not hot. There it is. So this is the brace that goes from the frame to the underside of that cross member, and I just tacked these in. They're not perfectly straight, but that's all right. All my holes line up really nicely, and actually had this wedged in. I had to tap it out a little. So I'm gonna weld the shit out of it, clean it up really well, and then stab it back in there, and we can wrap this thing up. So check out my piece. Oh, did I break something? Maybe. Check out my piece. Alright, so some welds are pretty, some welds aren't, but it's definitely not gonna break or go anywhere. And this is way thicker than the piece, the replacement, the piece that I'm replacing was. Let's get this thing bolted in so I can be done with this. Alright, everything's in and it all fits. It's awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and tighten this all down, and then we'll cut off the excess of the excess tips of the bolt and weld the bolts. Alright, so I got everything tightened down with the ratchet. So what I'm going to do now is actually put this wrench on here. I'm going to hammer it tight the extra mile just to make sure that it's really good super duper tight, like over tight, because whenever I weld them to weld the nut to the bolt, it's actually I just wanted to basically turn it to a rivet replacement and have no way whatsoever for it to come loose. I'm gonna hammer it tight the extra mile. Alright, let's check it out. That white residue is from the Chem Prime. I've got to push my bushing back in, jack this up so I can put in a new hardware for that. I'm going to run a plate of steel underneath this, where you can't see it, to reinforce that. It is a bit thin, I've discovered. And then I've got some shock towers still to make. But I'm going to give you guys an inside detailed shot here. And that's probably about as far as we're going to go for today. I know I'm not the best welder in the world, but I haven't had anything break on me yet. And once it's painted, you won't be able to see most of the nastiness. Yeah, a lot of nastiness. But it's mine, and this is what I'm doing. Well, that concludes this episode of BeckBuilt, and I'm pretty happy with what I did. There's a couple of things that could have been better, but I'm not done yet. Still got to prep all this and get it painted. Like I said, I'm pretty proud. I saved this old truck from the junkyard. This was the biggest issue right here. Now it's not an issue at all. Anyways, love what you do. See you later.